close. I have a feeling Goulane's might run all right as well.
So being called in, and they're off and racing for the RSA Chase, a Grade 1 contest, £150,000 up to grabs. And early on, Theatrical Star at a steady pace with Real Milan and Lyrene Legend take the first. A slight mistake by Vintage Star, who was just chased along on landing. But it's Theatrical Star who leads the turn towards the second. Goulane in the pale blue, Houblon des Obeaux in red with the blue disc. Those two dispute second place. Union East amongst horses at the moment on the inside of the Real Milan and then towards the inside Vintage Star. Boston Bob going the shortest route as they take that obstacle, at which Hadrian's Approach made a slight mistake. And at the rear of the field is Terminal as they make their turn still at a steady pace towards this line of fences, moving away from the stands. So Plane 1 first up, Theatrical Star leading from Goulane. Houblon des Obeaux, the grey head of Union East, getting a bit of daylight with Real Milan as they take this next fence, at which Goulane made a mistake, and another mistake by Vintage Star. That is his second of the contest, and again he was just ridden for a stride or two on landing. The water jump is number 4. And Theatrical Star with Houblon des Obeaux moving forward to dispute the lead. Again all over, and again the slowest leap by Vintage Star as they head on towards an open ditch which is number 5. Theatrical Star, Goulane moving back amongst the leaders with Houblon des Obeaux and Real Milan as they reach that open ditch. Boston Bob's on the inside, Union East and Vintage Star amongst horses with Lord Windermere towards the tail in company with Lyrene Legend, who's still well on the premises, and Terminal remains the back marker as they stretch over that. Terminal was the one that was a little slower than the others, but they're only fiddling mistakes rather than anything more serious early on, and the pace is no more than a steady one, and as a consequence the field are pretty well grouped as they turn towards the next fence, still with 13 to take in all. So Theatrical Star, Goulane and Houblon des Obeaux. Theatrical Star just reached for it slightly. Real Milan is in 4th. Union East on the outside of Vintage Star. He's beginning to warm up in the jumping department. Hadrian's Approach is one that's a little wider on the course. And then we have towards the inside Lord Windermere, Lyrene Legend between horses, and Terminal. So at the moment, the Irish quartet in midfield or worse as they run downhill as Theatrical Star leads them on towards fence number 8. Theatrical Star from Goulane, Houblon des Obeaux towards the outside. Boston Bob towards the inner, Real Milan going wider, and then Vintage Star Union East with Hadrian's Approach, but they're very tightly grouped as they head on towards the next fence, at which again they're over, and again Vintage Star was the one who was chased along on landing as they begin to come back towards us, still with well over a circuit to travel in the RSA. And Theatrical Star, Houblon des Obeaux and Goulane's are the 3 that cut out the running. Real Milan, Union East, Vintage Star and Boston Bob make up the second wave. Hadrian's Approach, Lyrene Legend, and towards the inside Lord Windermere, and at the back of the field is Terminal, but despite being the back marker would be no more than about 6 lengths off the leaders as they reach the first up the straight. Houblon des Obeaux got in tight, and Hadrian's Approach again made a mistake and got a slap down the neck for his pains there. Hadrian's Approach as they head on towards number 10, at which the best leap of the leaders came from Goulane's, who disputes it still with Theatrical Star. Houblon des Obeaux was a little wrong in seeing strides at both those fences up the home straight. Union East, for a while, Ruby Walsh just a little lower in the saddle on the inside of Real Milan. Hadrian's Approach improving towards the outside, but still the cards really yet to be played. This is the fence moving away from the stands. Goulane's, Theatrical Star out-jumped by Goulane's, who moves to the front. Houblon des Obeaux is quick to cover the move, a reminder for Vintage Star back in the field as those mistakes possibly begin to take their toll. Real Milan, Union East, the grey, now in the middle of that second wave. Boston Bob towards the inside, just drifted back slightly in the field, Boston Bob, as they take the next, at which Theatrical Star made a mistake, and Boston Bob's been shuffled right towards the rear in company with Terminal, who's always been towards the tail as they head towards the water jump for the final time. 7 left to take. Goulane's from Houblon des Obeaux, Real Milan from Hadrian's Approach, Union East in 5th place, again just being pushed along. Lyrene Legend is making smooth progress. Boston Bob's been pulled towards the outside of the field, then Lord Windermere as they rise at the next with Vintage Star, and the one that's dropped out having led early on is Theatrical Star. Union East received a reminder there in midfield. Ruby Walsh hasn't been happy for a little while, but still well bunched. They take the next, at which Houblon des Obeaux and Real Milan both made slight mistakes, but very much all still to play for here as Goulane leads the turn towards the 4th last, which is the final open ditch. Goulane with Houblon des Obeaux in the red colours in 2nd place. Real Milan, Hadrian's Approach has moved through the field to now dispute third. Again, Oublon des Obeaux asked up and put down there. Also a mistake by Terminal and Vintage Star at the back of the field. So Real Milan, Goulaine and also Oublon des Obeaux, whose jumping's rather let him down the last half mile. Hadrian's Approach moves into fourth. Lyrene Legend and Lord Windermere are both improving with purpose. Boston Bob next. Union East is really struggling at the tail of that leading group at the moment, is in about 8th place with 6 lengths to find on the leaders. So they're running downhill towards the third last. Goulaines with Real Milan moving through into second. Hadrian's Approach, Lyrene Legend still travels well. So does Lord Windermere. Boston Bob moving through into 6th place. Then Oublon des Obeaux and Union East in 7th and 8th. The Terminal continues in 9th, so they're making their journey on the long run to the second last. Goulaines with Real Milan, Lyrene Legend on the outside. The brave route being taken by Lord Windermere and Davey Russell up the inner. Boston Bob rallying to the cause. Then Hadrian's Approach, as 6 of them very well grouped make the turn for home, and Lord Windermere's a bit short of room on the inside as Boston Bob sweeps to the front in the RSA. It's Boston Bob who corners, 2 lengths clear from Lyrene Legend. Now switch to the outside, Lord Windermere. Goulaine makes a mistake when weakening. Boston Bob leads towards the last. In second, Lyrene Legend. In third, Lord Windermere coming for another crack. Boston Bob's down with the race at his mercy, and now it's Lyrene Legend and Lord Windermere, the Irish pair off up the hill, and it's Lord Windermere who moves to the front. Lyrene Legend in second place. Lord Windermere edging out under pressure, but will score for Davey Russell and Jim Colotti. Lord Windermere it is who wins the RSA. In second, Lyrene Legend. Hadrian's Approach, Union East in 4th place. Behind these, well grouped, is Terminal with Goulaine and Oublon des Obeaux. Boston Bob gallops away riderless. I think the rider may still be down.
A dramatic conclusion to the RSA Chase. Trainer Jim Colotti, who enjoyed so many magical moments aboard Best Mates in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, gets his first Cheltenham Festival success as a